It is now very clear that the director of the Citizen Coalition for Central Democracy, Sarah Bireete, was arrested, and this came after the spokesperson of the police came out to announce this.
Tukutte omukyala Sarah Bireete ng'ono ye director for Center for Constitutional Governance ng'ono wetwogerera akuumibwa ku poliisi yaffe nga naye akaseera konna ajja kuba alabikirako mu kkooti nga okunoonyereza kukyagenda maaso nga bwe tunaaba tumaliriza okunoonyereza fayiro tugenda giweereza ew'omuwaabi wa gavumenti ku misango ki gye tusobola okumuggulako nga tujja kuba tubategeeza we wanaabeerawo.
If you hear that police spokesperson speaking, is coming out to say that they arrested him as the investigation is going on. In Uganda, normally they first arrest someone before the investigations are done. The modus operandi of any police should be such that before you arrest me, make investigations, give me a warrant of arrest or invite me to the police, take me to court so that I can go through the court process. But here in Uganda, they just went to her home, surrounded it, took him, then later announced that they are still investigating. Is the reason as to why many of the cases that are politically motivated do not see a day in a competent court. And if you had a better judicial system, these people would have been facing a lot of fines. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the reason as to why I think Sarah Bireete was arrested from her home, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the certain materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to.
Drag the IGP to court to explain under what circumstances does he invite the army to torture Ugandans in the day-to-day policing that is his duties in the Constitution. Under what circumstances does he hand over his work to the army, and who is accountable for the violations of the army against Ugandans pretending to be doing law and order work that belongs to the police? I thank you very much.
One, as we go forward, every dissenting opinion is going to make it to face it rough. Under a dictatorship, many of the cases, those who are vocal on the way how government runs, they go after them. As we speak right now, very many supporters of Obwen are in jail. Besigye, one of the biggest opposition leader, is in jail. Now, even the director of Citizen Coalition for Democracy is in jail. You remember even Nicholas Opio, those who run NGOs which help to streamline democracy, they normally fix secret churches. The same person like Nicholas Opio was arrested. They said that he was doing money laundering in his organization. And for me, I suspect that those are the crimes that are going to appear on Sarah Bireete's charge. We are not new in Jerusalem. Many of the cases that are faced by political players are always the same. Treason, money laundering, etc. Yet, there is no judge who has ever come out to convict anyone. And for me, I feel bad that if the regime is handling issues this way, that anyone who comes out to speak faces that, we are doomed to fail. Okay? So, before I proceed, let me first play the tape as to why I think it was the reason for Sarah Bireete's arrest. Here's the tape.
On the other hand, NRM does not have strong democratic credentials to write home about, and I believe largely they cannot give what they don't have. If you look at the character of the ruling party and how they've run government, I wouldn't score them as a democratic or a group of Democrats. I wouldn't do that. But given that they operate under the structure known as the Constitution, they seem to be like a popular party holding primaries, but their character in government is largely one thing. They have violated all principles of governance, up to the extent that they are the only government in the world that I know of that conducts abductions of their citizens. So really, that is not a democratic plus. Yes, the NRM is the party in power. Citizens have been missing thanks to security agencies, which they had. So they are responsible for abductions of Ugandans. And other than terrorist groups, direction. No, I'm looking at the character of the ruling party. Other than terrorist groups, I don't know any government that abducts its citizens except NRM. So having said that, if you look at the president wrote 3 letters in 2 days. It's like he was not sleeping. And for me, I'm looking at a scared chairman of a party who is scared for 2 reasons. One, the bungled primaries will produce many independents within the party. And many independents, because the legitimate winners were rigged out, they will most likely defeat the fraudulent flag bearers in the elections. So that's one reason why the president is panicking. The second reason, if you have multiple...
Is he panicking or is just...
2 letters in 3 letters in 2 days.
Maybe as a leader of a party...
I'm coming why I call it panic. Right. I will justify my comment. So the second reason why I think he is in panic is because if you have multiple members contesting for a seat, they will divide their support and create a gap for opposition to defeat them. So for me, that's the reason why the president seems to be bothered. But otherwise, in his usual form as Sebaranye, he wouldn't be bothered about the malpractices in elections because that's how he survives. And I want to compare with the Kawempe by-election. Kawempe by-election was really a big fraud by security agencies, JAT, UPDF, police, whatever it is. And I blame all that on the party in power. They are in charge of government organs. And if they've lost control of these organs, they better tell citizens that as a party in power, they've lost control of state institutions. Unless they come to that, admission, we shall always blame them for the conduct of state institutions under their regime. The army rained terror on citizens, on journalists, on observers in Kawempe. Why didn't the president order arrest of the people who drove members to Kawempe, of the people who commanded members to go to Kawempe? For the first time, Ugandans saw a member with more than 100 guns driving through a polling station. Why weren't those soldiers arrested? And why is he more active in NRM primaries and not considering the national elections? A president of a country is not just a party chief or a village chief. He's the president of everybody. So this hypocrite concern of malpractices in party elections, while bungling the national elections for citizens, while bungling the sovereign rights of Ugandans, it is not a democratic concern. It's a hypocritical concern.
So you still insist that whatever happened in the NRM was meant to happen? Is that what you're trying to say?
They are not democratic. I've said why I don't consider them as a group of Democrats. I have justified that. They have bungled the rule of law in the country. They have weakened all institutions of governance, including parliament, which they recently bribed with 100 million to pass UPDF Act. All those are not democratic credentials. And that's what NRM demonstrates in their leadership.
How about the fact that, like Major here has stated, that they have internal mechanisms to actually address some of these issues?
I have said that structure on paper, they have systems to exist under multi-party dispensation. But their character at the national level does not demonstrate any democratic credentials. You send the army to raid parliament. You send the army to beat up MPs in the chambers. Are you a democratic leader? A democratic leader cannot do that.
Spectrum X on Radio 1 FM 90. We're doing.
That is Bireete. And it's not the only things she talks about. She's a fighter of democracy. She's a champion for human rights. Whenever the government comes out to abuse human rights, it comes out with a strong voice. Whenever there is the defying of humanity in our country, it comes out to speak. Normally in our African culture, women and children are now goes on. If the regime has started to even engage women, you clearly see how petty they are. In our African culture, even a man is not allowed to fight a woman. Women and children, even in war, they are supposed to be protected. But here in Uganda, if the government has started arresting women like Sarah Bireete, even in the man of arrest does not stand the procedures of the law. Because a senior citizen like Sarah Bireete, even if you call her, hello, we want you to police, or you were invited next week to court, your file has been taken by maybe the DPP. It is very good, but you to surround his home so that you can inflict fear. Because if you see a person like Sarah Bireete arrested, what about other people come out to speak? In fact, whenever I do such videos, I know even one day my day is going to come. But of course, and if someone is not strong as me, they will bow out not to speak about these issues. But the people who speak about the wrongs of the regime are the ones who are helping the country to go forward. Because at the end of the day, there are very many people who should come and stand out to speak about the road and how the country is going. But it is not a sign that the country is going in a proper direction. I cry for my beloved country. Of course, as my opinion remains yours truly, Mr. Makindi, Kavya Sulaiman Mawagali. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.